Steph 30, y'all. Goddamn, I just made this video, or I started it, and I realized I wasn't recording. I'm using Streamlabs here. But anyway, to get straight back into it, so I don't take all day here because I gotta go. I wanted to get into this my Gilbert DUI case from 2023. I had an evidentiary hearing for it on July 21st, 2026. That was basically a complete kangaroo court. Judge Lauren Ramirez is clearly acting in synchronicity, and also in they clearly have the prosecutors, the cops, and the judges here clearly have some kind of symbiotic relationship, or they're all working in tandem somehow. So just to let you know, if you somebody who has the capacity to be fascistly targeted here in Arizona, they will fascistly target you all together, and they will all work in tandem and to railroad you. Just to let it be known, this is what's going on here in Arizona. I was tactically and falsely arrested for a DUI, and on May 13, 2023. I was illegally removed from my legal place of residence under the Arizona Landlord Tenant Act by Officer Bryson Angum of the Gilbert Police Department. And then once I left the premise after I was illegally removed, I was falsely arrested for DUI. So basically, they set me up to take my housing and then to take my car. So they took all my stuff in one day, basically, right? Illegally, completely illegally. They entrapped me and they took all my stuff illegally. That's the type of fascism that's going on here in Arizona, right? And then you have the judges, the prosecutors at every level protecting these people, right? And protecting the narrative. Insanity. But so I just wanted to get into the fact that I filed a Rule 10.1 motion for change of judge against Judge Lauren Ramirez of the Gilbert Municipal Court for running a complete kangaroo court. She basically arbitrarily dictated a bunch of answers to my motions at the beginning of the hearing, and didn't even allow me to give a chance to respond to it. She just dictated my motions and dictated a bunch of my beliefs and behaviors and stuff on record for like 5 to 10 minutes straight off of a script, because these people aren't real judges either. Just like the lawyers here aren't real lawyers. These judges here aren't real judges. They just read from a pre-prepared script, and you can tell. Which is why I'm glad on me, because I'm good on the spot. Because they tried to pop up Officer Bryson Angum without even letting me know that he was going to be there at all. There was no indication that the witness cop that initiated the arrest or the entrapment was going to be at this hearing, and they did that on purpose in order to, confuse me and entrap me and trick me up and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I will be unprepared, but I still handed them their ass on a silver platter, because that's what I do. If you want to see the audio, if you want to hear the audio and read the transcript to this hearing, it's in my Substack. Go to my Substack, Steph122091. It's Steph122091, Substack/Steph122091. You'll see all my legal documents. I'm uploading my older legal documents and all the new ones I'm filing too. So you'll see the transcript and the audio from that hearing, and you'll also see the audio from a hearing before where Judge Lauren Ramirez had a white dude who was having a trial for driving on suspended license, and she was much more lenient and impartial with him. But when it came to mine, she just wanted to arbitrarily dictate everything that happened in the hearing and protect the criminal cop and criminal prosecutor's office. So since all these people would like to have this symbiotic relationship and work in tandem, we'll start from the head down, right? So I filed a Rule 10.1 motion for change of judge, or simply a recusal. And I just wanted to go through that so y'all can have an idea, we can have an idea exactly of what happened in the kangaroo court that day, and how exactly these people are getting down when it comes to this little threat score, social credit score system that they got here. That's been in effect for a while, by the way. I don't know why people keep saying on the internet that it's coming, bruh. If you ain't witnessed C-19 and what happened there, the kill chain that happened there, I don't know what to tell you. We'll get into that later. Let's get into this motion and recusal. Let me find this joint real quick. Pull it up. Damn it, I had it up. I'm gonna have to pull it up again, y'all. Give me a second. There you go. All right. So let's start reading this motion of recusal because yeah. In the Gilbert Court in the Municipal Court of Gilbert, County of Maricopa, State of Arizona. State of Arizona plaintiff versus Stephen Christian Harvey. Defendant case number 2024 CT 0006958. Motion for change of judge pursuant to Arizona Rule of Criminal Procedure 10.1 for bias, prejudgment, and systemic deprivation of due process. Introduction and legal standard. Defendant Stephen Christian Harvey, appearing pro se, hereby moves this court for a change of judge pursuant to the Arizona Rule of Criminal Procedure 10.1. Disqualification is mandatory where presiding judicial officer demonstrates actual bias, a fixed prejudgment of legal and factual issues, an invasion of substantive due process motions through circular reasoning, and an abandonment of neutral judicial gatekeeping in favor of prosecutorial advocacy. A fair trial before an impartial tribunal is a non-negotiable constitutional requirement under the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution and Article 2, Section 4 of the Arizona Constitution. Furthermore, municipal judges are strictly bound by the mandates of Arizona Code of Judicial Conduct. Canon 2, Rule 2.2, Impartiality and Fairness, requiring a judge to upload and apply the law impartially, treating all parties with fairness. Yes, if you don't know this, all judges, they have to act impartially as neutral arbiters. That is their job. That is their position. They can't be biased. It's just illegal for them to show any bias. Canon 2, Rule 2.3, bias, prejudice, and harassment, prohibiting a judge from manifesting bias or prejudice or by word or conduct or permitting staff and security to do so. Okay, so the reason that's there is because not just the judge being biased, but she's allowing she's often, Judge Laura Ramirez has allowed the clerk to be rude to me. Her name is Monica Nolan. I don't know who she thinks she is. She's just a court clerk, but she's allowed her to be rude to me. I would highly suggest that she never does that again, right? Because I don't have to treat her the same way as everybody else. And also there was when I walked into the last hearing, the hearing in June. After I was finished talking to Judge Laura Ramirez, before I got a chance to talk to her, the prosecutor tried to arbitrarily tell me that I cannot talk to the judge and I need to just accept this continuance after they sent me my my discovery 5 minutes before I got to the hearing. The prosecutor's office decided to send my discovery in a Gmail link 5 minutes before I got to the last hearing, and then try to tell me that I should just accept the continuance, and me getting a dismissal was not going to happen. I had to tell him, hey, I'd rather talk to the judge because you ain't the judge. You know what I'm saying? I had to tell him. So, and then after I talked to the judge that day, a security guard came in and stood right next to the judge, just staring just directly staring at me. And now in the last hearing, the last evidentiary hearing on July 21st, 2026, there was a security guard that followed me into the damn courtroom. As soon as I got there, he followed me in and stood at the door. As soon as I got there, of course, he wasn't in the room before I got there. He followed me in the room and stood there at the door like he was blocking the way out. Like, bro, if I wanted to get out, there's nothing you could do about it. So I don't know what your little lizard-looking ass was doing, but whatever. And then, of course, after I'm done kicking all their ass and handing them all their ass in the courtroom and not folding, like, because that's what I do. Of course, this security guard want to follow me out the fucking courtroom and try to shadow me and make it seem like he doing something. Bro, I keep telling y'all what's going to happen the moment one of y'all put your hands on me. You don't have the legal right to do it. This is why y'all keep having to do these tactical arrests and stuff, because y'all afraid of me. So stop acting like you shadowing me is going to do something. You know you scared. Like, so whatever. Next, Canon 2, Rule 2.6. Ensuring the right to be heard. Mandating that a judge accord to every person with a legal interest the full right to be heard according to law, which did not happen several times during that hearing. Like I said, I tried every time I trapped Bryson Ingham, the witness officer who just was somehow there for some reason on the 21st without me ever being notified that I had to cross-examine a police officer that day, right? Every time I jammed him up, either the prosecution would make an arbitrary objection that made no sense and the judge would overrule it and tell me I can't continue that line of questioning, or the judge would just intervene themselves and say, you're asking a double question or something like that doesn't make any sense, right? So Clearly, this judge and this prosecutor and these police are working all in tandem and have a symbiotic relationship. And the judge is clearly protecting a criminal prosecutor and a criminal police. Okay, so the official verbatim transcript of the proceedings held on July 21st, 2026 establishes an overwhelming pattern of structural error, prejudgment, and hostile courtroom intimidation, and judicial partiality that entirely destroys the appearance of a fair tribunal. So after that, I get into grounds for disqualification and judicial misconduct. I go into the prejudgments of emotions prior to the hearing, because before the hearing, as soon as the hearing begins, Judge Lauren decides to take a bunch of my motions she should have been ruled on paper, and just take them and just make these arbitrary statements and rulings on them at the beginning. I mean, she took like 5 to 10 minutes before I could even say anything, and then went on, after she did all that, she went on to start asking the prosecutor questions, didn't let me give any answers, didn't let me give any opening statements. It was a complete kangaroo court. They all look like clowns, and I'm going to put them on the internet. Like I said, if you want to see the audio and read this motion for change of judge and see the transcript and all that stuff, you just go to my Substack. It's all there. It's free for now. So I would go see it while it's free. Listen, another thing I went into is circular dismissal and evading the legal standard on a motion to set aside FTAs. So I have these 2 failures to appear in this case. I didn't receive any summons for the court dates that I failed to appear to. I had attorneys for both of these dates where I got failure to appears. So I put all these things, and they only happened a week after the date that I got a failure to appear and a warrant for the failure to appear. So what I was trying to do is get these failure to appear struck from the permanent record on a MVD. So I don't have failure to appear to my record anymore that are unjustified. Judge Lauren basically gave a arbitrary decision at the beginning of the hearing. You weren't here, so that's why you had the failure to appear, and there are no warrants. Dumbass, that's not what I said in my motion. That's not what I said. So apparently she cannot read. She cannot read. This lady cannot read, and this is why she needs to be recused from my case. I never said anything about warrants. I said I need them struck from the record because they have no legal basis. They have no legal basis. I never received any proper notice for those hearings that I've received failure to appears for. And also, you didn't give me proper time to have notice. They were served within a couple of days after the failure to appear was issued. So you had to give me proper notice. You know what I mean? And they didn't do that, of course, because these people are running the kangaroo court. I wound up getting arrested for a failure to appear on April 2nd, 2025 by Officer Ingham himself outside of his jurisdiction in Chandler. I was in Chandler, AZ, when I got arrested by Officer Ingham outside of his jurisdiction. So I've been arrested by Officer Ingham twice. He's stalking me. I even have pictures of him from that day with the timestamp and date that they continue to ignore. And at the beginning of the hearing, Judge Lauren Ramirez, of course, said that it's not, she marked that as not relevant before I could raise it, and I still raised it anyway because I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. That's work calling, y'all. Hold on. Gotta do what we gotta do. Gotta do what we gotta do. All right, I'm gonna take that. All right, let me finish this up real quick, y'all. Because I gotta get up out of here. Number 3, I argued in this motion for recusal is prejudicial evasion of blood spoliation, State versus Morales. So basically, I raised a challenge to the logs for the blood test says there's a 37-day delay in the refrigeration of my blood after it was taken that day, which means all of the sugar in the blood fermented, and it's not admissible in court anymore to say that I have a DUI anymore. It's just no longer admissible in court because all of the blood has completely fermented, right? After a couple days, it's let alone 37 days without refrigeration. So there's a 37-day gap or whatever. Um, ooh, I don't know what happened there. My bad. How I remove this? My bad, y'all. My bad. Anyway, it's a 37-day gap in the blood refrigeration, right? Which is nuts. That means the blood is not admissible. You cannot convict me of this no matter what. So, I mean, all this is pointless anyway, but it's like, it's completely inadmissible because the test is inadmissible. You feel me? The test results are completely inadmissible, and also, Officer Ingham referred to me as damn Caleb in his police report. So, it's probably a templated narrative anyway, right? Okay, my next argument was unaddressed emergency motion to continue from my June 25th, 2026 car accident. The court and Judge Lauren Ramirez never addressed or ruled on my emergency motion to continue. I was in a major accident on June 25th of this year, and my court date was July 21st. I asked for a continuance so I can heal up and get proper transportation to be able to get to the damn hearing. She never fucking ruled on it. Right? Next argument in my motion for recusal: judicial prosecutorial collusion, sua sponte narrative framing, prompting asymmetrical motel evidence, fictional audible standards, and entrapment preclusion. So basically, what this is all about is, it's talking about how the judge interfered sua sponte every time that I would trap Bryson Ingham and in the cross-examination, or she would just arbitrarily dictate a narrative that did not allow me to answer it or not allow me to do anything. Also, Judge Lauren Ramirez took it upon herself to allow the prosecution to use evidence from the motel arrest by Officer Bryson Ingham, but not allow me to use the entrapment as something that is a basis for argument, right? So this is the type of stuff that we're seeing here, right? Here we go. I'm trying to bring this up here so y'all can see it, and y'all not just in the dark. But yeah, this is the type of stuff he's dealing with here. They allowed Bryson Ingham and the prosecution to use things to use evidence from the motel arrest and use it as a reason to arrest me after I left the motel, to start a second investigation after I left the motel and arrest me for DUI. But they didn't allow me to use that as an entrapment. They didn't allow me to say that I was a legal tenant under the Arizona Landlord-Tenant Act and ARS 1301 and some others. They didn't allow me to say that he told me to leave or whatever and stuff like that. But they allowed Bryson Ingham to use and the prosecution to use evidence from the actual motel, the motel trespass from where I was staying, as part of evidence for their for what they're saying, for what they're saying I did, which is nuts, right? Doesn't even make any logical sense. But this is the type of kangaroo court that, you know, wide back is running. So that was another thing I argued. Yep. Okay. And then the sixth point I made was arbitrary denial of material discovery, witness shielding, and witness ambush. Like I said, they ambushed Bryson Ingham on me. I didn't even know he was going to show up to that hearing that day, and I thought I was going to have to cross-examine anybody. Don't worry, I still put my foot in his ass. Go listen to that audio. But yeah, I'm not going to read the whole motion because it's really long. I just wanted to give y'all a quick run through of it. They also didn't give me none of the other officers were there. There were 6 officers total on the scene. And also one of my arguments is that the officer who administered the field sobriety test has no footage at all. There's no footage from the officer who actually administered the test to be able to validate the results of the field sobriety test in the first place. So that's completely illegal because the prosecution is legally required to disclose all exculpatory evidence and all body-worn camera footage of every officer there without any editing. Right? Seventh point was 100% asymmetrical objections and rulings. Like I said, 100% of the prosecution's objections were sustained, while 100% of my objections, motions, and lines of inquiry were overruled or blocked, which doesn't make any sense in a case this highly contested, right? The 8th was judicial advocacy and lifelines on cross-examination, right? The judge was basically advocating for Bryson Ingram, even though he was completely wrong and a criminal. He's a criminal police officer, clearly. And she kept throwing him lifelines during the cross-examination and cutting me off and saying that I'm badgering him or I'm double questioning him and all this other nonsense that don't make any sense. And clearly she doesn't understand what the word belligerent means. She agreed that I was being belligerent, even though they didn't point out any specific instance where I was being belligerent in the footage that we watched. They couldn't. But she said I was being belligerent. She agreed and ruled on that. She clearly doesn't know what the word belligerent means, so she definitely shouldn't be ruling on my cases because you don't have it to rule on my cases. You don't have it mentally to rule on my cases. You're not the what? Anyway, the 9th one is the evidentiary catch-22, preclusion of impeachment of evidence. Right. When I tried to present the police report saying that Ingram referred to me as Caleb in a police report and stuff like that, and also said that I had a drink in my hand, which wasn't on video. In his sworn affidavit, he said I had a drink in my hand. That wasn't on video. Of course, the judge stops me and says, "You had the opportunity to question Mr. Ingram about any inconsistencies in his police report during cross-examination, and you failed to do so." So while stopping me a million times during my cross-examination, every time I trapped him, right? And then the 10th was structural degradation, closed proceedings, courtroom intimidation, and abandoned administrative oversight. So basically, I'm gonna end this here by saying this hearing was closed to the public. She made sure no public, unbiased witnesses were there. She keeps having security shadow me and try to intimidate me, even though I don't give a fuck about them. I already keep saying what's gonna happen if somebody tries something stupid. And then abandoned administrative oversight. Basically, during my cross-examination, the damn court clerk decides to get up and walk out the room for 10 to 15 minutes, even though she's supposed to be taking note and taking the transcript of everything that's going. So this is the type of bias that we dealing with here. I don't know what the hell is wrong with these people. I gotta get out of here and go do this DoorDash. I'ma just say, man, just to end this off, especially for you wide backs out there, you know what I mean? I don't know why y'all keep caping for these people like this, because to them, you're disposable. You're disposable. I don't even know why y'all wide back asses come over here and try to undermine us for these people. We're the only reason that y'all come over here and have any rights, because y'all definitely didn't, Black Americans, I'm saying, are the only reason y'all come over here and have any rights, because y'all definitely didn't fight for them and win them in your homeland. Y'all come over here, and y'all start trying to play the game under the W supremacy wing. And I'm gonna end this off with a quote from the late great Professor Black Truth. When W supremacy is done with its tools, they break them. Straight like that.